So, how you doing? Any of you?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, good. You
Really
still
good.
saddle sore?
No,
We'll come back to that, shall
all
we?
the wounds are healed.
Oh, yeah, okay, right, yeah. Okay, well, there we are. Couldn't you brew me another one like that? Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we thought it'd be a great opportunity this evening to just talk about the last 7 interminable years. No. Yes, I'm trying to make it as hard as I can for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that's good. Now, I thought this was a great opportunity that probably won't come anywhere else in just the same way for you to reflect on a bit of the 7 years here. Yeah. So, how about what were you expecting? When you came?
Don't know. I think I felt like I was a rabbit caught in the headlights. And most probably a lot of you saw me like that. Yes. I don't think I had any major expectations at all, because every place is different, isn't it, that you are part of.
Hey, the table didn't break. What's the problem? You know. Yeah.
So, yes, I think it was just a whole, well, as I'm going to be preaching about, stepping out of the boat. So
Okay.
and just absorbing whatever came my way. So, and I've got to say, everybody has been extremely generous and have been lovely and have helped me, particularly through that probation period as well. So, you know, I'm really grateful to everybody, you lot that are here and everybody else that's part of the circuit. It's been an amazing experience and I've enjoyed it.
I know back just after Ham, Shem and Japheth had stopped being in ministry and when I went to train, that there was a thing, because you trained like I did at Queen's College, that there were all sorts of things where we trained alongside Anglican students and colleagues, and there would be questions about things that were going to come up, and I remember the answer was always, well, you'll learn about that during your curacy. And I can remember there used to be this howls of protest from Methodist students saying, but we won't get one, we get thrown deep in the deep. It'll be all right. And I'll guarantee it was still happening when you were there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I happen to know it's still happening while Naomi is there.
Yeah.
And
they don't really teach you anything about
yeah, you do remember this is being broadcast, won't you? Yes.
I know.
Yes.
So they give you a sort of snapshot and then say, right, there you go. And so I remember being asked, how do you do communion? And I thought, well, I've never done communion. So there's no normal way of doing it for me because I've never done it.
Well, that was good preparation for the pandemic then, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
You know, when there were different ways in every place and every week.
Exactly.
Yes, right.
So, yeah. So it's all that of sort of learning the practical parts within ministry, which has been an eye-opener.
Okay.
But great as well.
Good. Okay. What bits have you both enjoyed the most about
Do you want to speak?
being in Coates Green and being in the circuit with many names?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, on reflection, this is just a fabulous place in this world. Really fabulous. And for those of you that aren't appreciating it every day, I think again, because this is a wonderful place to be. And also, for me, it was the amazing friendship and fellowship and the blessing that we've had of people has been amazing, really amazing. And it's going to stick with us for a long time. You know, it's an unforgettable blessing of people that have helped us and worked with us and supported us. So it's all about the people for me. It's not about the stadium. It's about the people. And here You have world-class teams, and we just need to grow them a bit more.
That's a good thing to say. Yes, I think that's true. Lots of people assume that being in a rural place is going to be stepping into a decaying and stilted environment. And I always just think when I hear people, and they always live in cities who think like that, I feel like saying, I tell you what, come down for a couple of weeks and we'll run you ragged.
Yeah.
You know? And that's, yes, I think there's a real truth in that.
Yes.
Have you got any kind of standout things that you want to just kind of relate here, which you would never say any other time? Just, I mean, well, what was it you wanted to say? All you have to say is yes, and then tell the story that you were thinking of telling anyway. You know, that's the clue to an interview.
Standout moments, my goodness. The walking nativity that was at Tribullet, and seeing somebody on a cherry picker pretending to be Archangel Gabriel,
Hallelujah.
who looked absolutely scared stiff.
I bet.
I think that was just brilliant.
You'll give me the risk assessment for that one, David.
Wasn't it? That was brilliant. But there's been lots of different things that have happened, and just to be part of that has been a great privilege, just to walk alongside people in the different parts of their own journeys, with all the struggles and difficulties that we all go through. It is a privilege to be able to walk with you in that. So, yeah, there's lots of different things. There's lots of special memories that I'll have in my heart and we'll take with us to the Isle of Man. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think something we probably will want to say here, and this may get said again before you go, but I think now's one of those moments that's worth saying. I'm really aware that there came a moment a little under 2.5 years ago when you suddenly found yourself literally what felt like being the last woman standing when Malcolm had headed off on sabbatical. Was that the day before or the day after the Prime Minister? Here's a word: the former Prime Minister stood up and said, "Go to your homes, throw away, lock the doors and throw away the key."
Lockdown, yes.
And suddenly, there you were, acting superintendent, and a lot fell on your shoulders.
Yeah. That was an interesting time, wasn't it, for all of us?
I love the word interesting. Isn't that? That's a word you can really flex, isn't it? Interesting.
I think a standout moment for that was trying to learn how to do Zoom and how on earth to coordinate all of those different aspects of it. And then, now I'm not a technical person at all, so, which Andy will tell you loads of. But one of the service that we did, and of course this was the early on ones, which was you've only got your 45-minute slot and then you've got to have finished in time, that I was doing the sermon and on my screen it says, no battery life left or something. And I thought, oh no, it's going to just die in the middle of this sermon. And so I
You've never
finished.
had that happen before? Anyone died? No, good. It's best not to. Yeah.
So I finished the sermon and then said to everybody, just excuse me a minute while I go under my desk, so, which is all happening on Zoom. Andy always was in the other study, weren't you, checking that everything went right. So when I hadn't put the sound on properly, he'd come rushing in and go, you've got no sound. And that. So he came rushing in, trying to work out, well, what on earth's gone on? And I saw that the lead was plugged into my laptop. It was plugged in with the normal plug. Everything was on as it should be. But what we hadn't noticed was there was a break a split in the actual lead. So Andy had to hold it together so we could finish the actual service.
Feel the power, brother.
Yeah,
Feel the power.
So I said to people on Zoom, I said, well, hopefully we'll get to the end of this service. But if not, I'm going to do the blessing now, and then we're going to sing the final hymn. So did the blessing, we sung the hymn. By the end of it, it's smoking.
That was the wire, not me.
So that was interesting, but yes, yeah. So the whole of Zoom, that was a whole new experience to all of us, wasn't it? And, and I think in some ways, despite the fact that we'd shut the doors to the churches, actually, the churches had opened up to so many each other, isn't it? Because the churches, are the people. And we had so many people that were part of that Zoom. And the relationships that were formed on those, particularly when you're all thrown into breakout rooms and had no choice, was great, because people just got to really know each other. And I think that was lovely.
Yes, I remember reading something way back then when we all thought that was all going to be over in 3 months.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
That totally deluded fortnight.
Yeah.
And saying the church has left the building and time to go into the world.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I think that sense of being a missional people is something we very definitely, I hope, have sensed we brought back with us.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
7 years.
7 years, gone like that.
Yeah, you're going to St. Pinocchio's, are you? Yes. That's right. I suspect there have been days and weeks when it has felt like a long and laborious time, because life is always like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But looking back, it will have flown by, I've no doubt. And when you went into stationing,
Yes.
you put you would be willing to go to the Isle of Man as your first choice.
Yes.
And then you rang me up with a surprised note in your voice saying, I've been given my first choice. We're going to the Isle of Man. I really think there probably wasn't a long queue, which is a really smart move on your part. See? Never mind. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yes.
I've noted that one.
Yes, all right, okay. Well, you haven't got long to take your retribution on me for, I've concluded. No. So, you're going to the Isle of Man. Middle of the Irish Sea.
Yes.
Long winters and short summers.
Yes, lots of rain.
Lots of rain, yeah. And you bought the motorbike yet? Or are you waiting for the taxi?
She didn't sell it to me like that, actually.
It's an island paradise. Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah. Okay, but I mean, everyone I know who's moved there has kind of found it to be a lovely place to go. So tell us a bit about what's coming up and what you're thinking of and what you're hoping. And
Yes, so where I'll be, it will be pastoral charge for 6 churches. But it's shared with the superintendent, who's also the district chair. And anybody that knows the Isle of Man, 2 of the chapels are in Douglas, which is the city, which has been made a city since the Jubilee. If you sort of imagine where Douglas is, you're going to draw a line straight across the Isle of Man. And basically there's a church at St. John's, one at Crosby, one in Peel, and then just goes south from Peel, and there's one called there Glen May. So there's 3 sort of village chapels and 3 town churches. So yes, yeah. And again, we'll see what happens. See what God is calling us to be involved in.
We'd never been there, had we?
No,
we looked at these profiles.
very few people have.
Well, yeah. But we looked at these profiles, and we both felt... Well, we went away and we looked at all these profiles, and there was a lot of them. Yeah. There was like 140
I think.
Profiles, and we looked through them, and we put a filter on them and thought about where we wanted to be and where God was calling us. And we looked at our short list independently, and we both picked it out. We'd never been to the Isle of Man, either of us, but we both felt a calling. And I think, particularly when you're in itinerant ministry, if you don't listen to that call, then you're in the wrong job. So it all fell into place. Yeah. I'd resigned from my job, so we could be anywhere, which was amazing, that we could just go anywhere. And God's hand has been on this from the beginning. I actually believe that, not just from the last 7 years, but in the whole period before Joe's call into ministry, God's hand was on it all. It was a preparation for us. I really believe that. You know, from the different activities and skills and professions that we took up, it was in preparation, first of all, to come here, and latterly to go somewhere else. So when you reflect like that, and I never used to reflect like that, I've been drawn along this journey by Jo, because she's a very special person, a very spiritual person, and she's certainly developed me. And I never thought like that, but I do now. And that's really important. Yeah. I don't want to say any more because I know you'll end up crying, so I don't want to make you cry.
That's been wonderful to hear some of that, and we obviously do, and we will wish you well as you go. And I think having done the island thing in the past, at the same sort of a stage as a second appointment, it's very different, and it's important to embrace and to enjoy the opportunities that are different and that will come. And I pray that that will be true for you.
Thank you.
And the question is, you know, we know about your keenness for cycling. So who's going to ride pillion? Once you Yes, you're not going to do that. Obviously, I can tell there's that look that says no.
It's something I always wanted to do, but I've never been allowed, not by my mother or by my wife, so maybe it's time.
So you're going to the perfect place, Anne. No, I'm sorry, I better edge away before I'm hit. Yes, okay, rightio, okay. Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I know someone else who went to the Isle of Man, and the first thing that they think was they took over from their predecessor was a boat.
Oh.
It's one of your colleagues, yes.
Oh,
I'm sure
okay.
they'll tell you. So, yes, embrace what the island brings and find its specialness and learn, I think, to let that become part of what you are and do.
Thank you.
And I just want to say a big thank you to both of you for making Liz and me very welcome when we arrived in the most peculiar of circumstances, when everybody was only going to be pixelated postage stamps. And
we all have legs.
yes, we discovered this. It took us nearly 9 months to realise everybody wasn't only this much, you know. But thank you ever so much, because it was very weird stepping into that. But I think I need to say a big thank you to you for, apart from anything else, for what you'd done between March and August in 2020 in holding and pulling everyone and drawing everyone together so that we could arrive and step into something. And so thank you.
Thank
and
you.
God bless you both as
Thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you very much.
A round of applause.